Welcome in to Nuts and Bolts here on the Warzone Sports Network. I am Tony Tucker. I am joined by my good buddy, friend, amigo, brother, Michael on the microphone. We're here to talk about our Chargers. And the Chargers we can't really play any defense. We can't really stop the run. But I think this is where we need to play some defense. Michael on the microphone. We're here to talk on the waiver wire this week. We're playing defense on the waiver wire. Mike, we'll get to it right after this music.
Yeah.
San Diego Chargers are fortunate to have Lance Allworth.
On blue, ready?
Don Coryell.
Hello, history books. Touchdown, San Diego! Woo!
And we're back. I'm glad that you're super hyped, Tony. It's good to hear the pep in your step and the smile on your face because I am all week because of the Chargers.
I got to look at it like this. It's a beautiful day to be alive.
It is beautiful.
Halloween was a familia success story. Jake Kamal, what's popping? Thank you. But this is the thing that pisses me off. So my good buddy's a Patriots fan, and he got tickets to the game, and he's like sending me stuff in there saying like, there's more Patriots fans than Chargers fans here. I'm like, yeah, of course there's going to be. We live in a city like Los Angeles where there's actual things to do here, and people have been locked out of doing these things from Halloween for a full year. You thought they were going to go to a Chargers game? No, they weren't going to do this. Why didn't we get a road game on Halloween in a city like Los Angeles? Like this would have been the main event in Cincinnati or whatever. A football game is not the main event on Halloween in a city like Los Angeles. But yet our fans are supposed to go in the middle of trick-or-treating. All these other people, they want to put their dancing shoes on. They want to put on their war paint, scantily clad clothes, and go out and shake their rumpus and have fun being young. They're not going to the Chargers game. It was terrible scheduling.
I like shaking my rumpus. But, just shake a little
Shake your rump, Mike. It feels good.
I was in Captain America suit, so it would have been a good one for the rumpus shaking. America's ass. TM. But, also I'm just tired of that narrative that the Chargers fans aren't going to show up, and it's just a repeat every week. Guys, the Chargers fans aren't going to show up. It's an old story. All the jokes that you come up with, you didn't come up with them. They already exist. Just give it up. Accept it. It's going to rain when there's clouds, and the Chargers fans aren't going to show up to the game. Get it to your head.
He sends me a video, and it's like fourth or third down for the Chargers, and the place is erupting. Well, Herbert's on the field. And I'm like, yeah, we already know this. I've already seen this story. So move it along. And then we didn't talk for like 4 days and this is somebody I talk to pretty regularly, but I wasn't about to put up with his Patriots bullshit where like Belichick, he just says, is Belichick did it again? It's just Belichick. It's Belichick. I'm always like, just eat a bag of sausages and get out of my face. Well,
let's talk about the Patriots-Chargers game. We're going to get into a preview of the Eagles. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with Odell Beckham Jr., and we're going to talk about this Patriots game, and we'll start off with the bad and get this out the way. What were your thoughts, Tony? And anything you got to get off your chest, get it off your chest. I'll sit here and try to think of something to say because I got no words.
You got no words. Okay, I have a lot to say, as always, Mike. You know me. I have many thoughts on many things.
That's why we pay you.
Exactly. I am handsomely rewarded for my contributions here at the Warzone Sports Network. There were some good moments and some good things about this game, right? Like, and I will start with some of those positives. Dustin Hopkins, future Hall of Fame kicker, making extra points and field goals, which is what we needed. Let's be happy about that situation, him making it there. Then we have Joshua Palmer on the final drive. Get him on the field, please. I thought the bye week would have been good for this, I heard a little bit of rumblings from Coach Staley saying like, yeah, we're trying to get guys like Trey McKitty and stuff more involved and whatever. It's like, no, we need to do it faster with the young guys. Because if the team is going to be mediocre or up and down, let's be up and down with the future instead of Jared Cook, even though I have him in fantasy. I think he's going to have a good week this week. But I liked that Joshua Palmer caught a touchdown that way, right? Like, end of the game, went up there and mossed somebody, really, like in the end zone, went and did that. They also were able to, like, what did I compare it to in that text message? Like, it was a leaky faucet instead of a flood. The rushing defense, which has been historic, it's been horrible this year. Like, they literally some weeks couldn't stop me, and I have arthritis and cannot run anymore in both of my ankles. So, like, they haven't been able to stop any 3.6 or 3.8 yards a carry or whatever it was in that game, which was positive. And Damian Harris had been really well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I said it would be a win if they kept him under 100 yards. Now, I didn't think that also Stevenson was going to get in there, and Bolden and anybody else who decided to run the football was also, going to get some love in there. So I think those things were positives to me. Now the negatives. Holy shit. Are you kidding me, Joe Lombardi? 3 weeks ago, people were like, this guy's going to be a hot coaching hire. Like, look at what he's doing. But no, it cannot be several weeks of confused football with the offense. Like, I can't have a veteran like Jared Cook not being on the same page, because the Chargers really could have won the game at that point. They could have.
Mm-hmm.
And he throws it in interception just by being in the right place. Like, I don't even think it was man. It wasn't its zone. Like, wasn't he just falling into his spot? And
it was. Adrian Phillips was just covering the flats, and Cook had space to catch the ball, and he's one-on-one with a much smaller DB. Like, that's a good situation. Herbert made the right read. And
he didn't run the right play. So, like, that was a killer there. Eckler, that ball was a little high. You got to catch that, though. Mm-hmm. You at least got to bring it into your body, and maybe you get rocked over the middle. You're going to take a big hit. I love Eckler. I don't want to put those balls. That's going to happen once in a while. The drops by Keenan Allen. I sent you another message saying, dude's no longer elite. You can be the greatest route runner, but when you get open, it can't be going through your hands. It can't be going off your hands. It can't be going off your chest. And I love that you rock the hoodie underneath the jersey like that. It looks very cool. Bro, you can't have as many big misplays as that and be considered an elite receiver. He went into the game saying they were the best receiving core. Either they didn't look like it, or the play calling is just completely effed.
Yeah, I saw, 3 third down conversions dropped, and another one tipped up in the air for an interception. I mean, those are killing us in the last 2 games, is those third down conversion drops. Even against Baltimore, we weren't moving the ball very well after we pick up the third down anyways, I don't think. But there was multiple times where we could have moved the chains on 3rd and 6, and it turns into a 3 and out. And that just starts to add up if you keep doing that throughout the game. The Patriots are a team, and I coined them with this, a team that knows that they aren't as good as other teams on paper, but exactly what they did to us is exactly what they want. They want to stick around and hope you make a mistake at the end of the game. That's exactly what they've been doing all year, and that's how they've gotten most of their wins this year, is the other team making a mistake at the end of the game, and ours was that pick 6. As far as the offense goes, I was very happy to see a more put-together play calling style than I've seen in previous years. In previous years, it just seemed real random. Like, it didn't make sense that we were running a draw on 3rd and 14, and then we would run, some crazy trick play on 2nd or 3rd and 1, and it was all out of whack, and I had no predictability over what was going to happen because it didn't make sense. Now it does make sense, but it seems like it's getting a little bit too predictable. And that's what teams are starting to key in on. And on 1st and 2nd down, we're not moving the ball forward 5 to 6 yards like we were in the first part of the season. And that sets us up for the 3rd and 3. And Herbert was killing it on 3rd and 3 and on 3rd downs up until the last 2 games. So I think that the offense is just getting a little bit too predictable. I think you need to throw in deep shots on 1st downs just every once in a while into the offense. Deep shots on 2nd down. Like, go ahead and let's not necessarily always be just trying to get those 3 or 4 yards in the first 2 downs to make 3rd and manageable. Let's try and get the 1st down before 3rd down more often, if that makes sense. It's too predictable that we're trying to pick up 3 yards on 1st down. We're trying to pick up 3 yards on 2nd down and then convert on 3rd down.
Yeah, here's the problem with that philosophy. It feels like he wants to get in short and fourth down situations. Like he's like, our goal is to be really successful at converting 4th and 2s. Coach, my goal is to get first downs, and I don't care how you get them. If you get it on first down, great. But this idea that like, oh, we got to, yes, you want to get positive yards. But if tomorrow or Sunday's game, they were to start it off with Jalen Guyton or Josh Palmer on a deep shot, I'm not going to be mad if it's 2nd and 10. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you, I wouldn't even be that pissed if they took a shot downfield and the first ball was intercepted. You know, like if it's 40 yards downfield and now all of a sudden the Eagles have the ball on their own 38, at least they went for like a big shot to open it up and say, hey, be thinking about this because we didn't stop. Because if we look back a few weeks ago, Tyreek Hill was able to get behind this defense. And they're playing a lot of like, in one of the film studies from Baldinger or whatever, he's talking about the success that the Eagles are having playing pass defense is like this zone coverage or whatever. And there's a lot of holes and places to expose it, but you have to have the quarterback who has that ability and the ability to read it. And Mahomes did a great job of that. But then they can go and crush other people. So we need number 10 to be that guy too. But we also need our receivers and running backs and everybody else to be on the pitch and know where the holes in said zone are going to be where they can make those plays.
Yeah, and that's Keenan Allen and Mike Williams' bread and butter when they were with Phillip Rivers. And that was kind of their thing that they did. And that's also something that I wanted to know about the drops coming. And I know they had Herbert for all of last year, but both Mike Williams and Keenan Allen were very banged up last year. So they did miss a lot of time. And this year it's not been the same. And thank God it's not been the same. I want to see those guys out there. But is there a little bit of an adjustment here from Phillip Rivers, who was more of a, we'll say he tossed the ball more than pitched the ball. He threw a little bit more air on it, a little bit softer landing than Justin Herbert's absolute fastballs that be coming in. But you still got to catch them. You're a receiver in the NFL. Like if Mahomes or Brady or Rodgers steps back and throws you a fastball, you better damn catch it. And the same thing with Justin Herbert.
Yeah, that's the thing is like on that one where I think it was like 3rd and 8 and Keaton's wide open over the middle. If he catches that, he's getting 30, 40 yards and it's a huge, and the ball just goes right through his hands. That ball had some pepper on it. Yes. I couldn't have caught it myself, but I'm not Keenan Allen. He has to catch that.
Yes, he does. He's been one of the more sure-handed receivers in his career in the league. He makes crazy catches. He needs to be consistent on those easy ones like that. And I think he almost was turning on that play before the ball got there, and that's what caused the drop more than too much heat. There are a few where it's high, and it's tough to get your hand on the ball if it's a fastball. But you have to grit down. You have to figure it out. If you guys need to freaking pull out some stickums again, like in 2014 or whatever it is when we got busted for that, do it. I don't care. You need to get these drops under control because it is killing us. I think we have the most drops in the league right now. Or we're close to the top for drops.
Oh, it has to be. Cook's dropped a bunch this year. I do think this week is going to be a nice week for Parham and Anderson and Cook. Like I think that's it's not fun or sexy to say that like, hey, Anderson might catch a touchdown or whatever. Yeah, you know, but I think that might be a route to success there.
Silver lining from the loss, we lost the Patriot way. We will say that. It was not 45-0 like last year. We just got our asses kicked. We lost in a way the Patriots beat teams. I am worried. I'm not going to say I'm not worried because we dropped to 4-3 because of that. Now we're only a game ahead of the Chiefs and a game behind the Raiders. But this is very recoverable. We fix what's going on with the play calling. We stop dropping passes, and we're going to be winning games again, especially against the opponents we got coming up.
Yeah, I will say this too, just lastly before we transition, Mike. I'm a little discouraged that we did not be more aggressive towards Fletcher Cox. Like, they said they wanted a pretty hefty price tag there. Howie Roseman loves draft picks and trades with everybody all the time. Like, look at all the people that just go.
Yeah.
Why weren't we more aggressive towards Fletcher Cox?
That's the thing. The Chargers just don't do it. They just don't do that. They have not in my life made a huge mid-season acquisition. Even when we've been good, even when we've been contenders, they just don't make mid-season acquisitions, which it's a Telesco thing, but even the GM before him didn't either. I don't know what it is. Organizational thing, maybe.
Yeah, well, Spanos has got to go, and we got to get Jay-Z and Beyonce in here owning
They'll
this
make
team.
some mid-season trades, I'll
and
tell you
then
that.
yeah, and then we're going.
There might be too many mid-season trades.
Don't even care.
The only time I see the Chargers trading at the deadline is when we're shipping out expiring contracts. That's it. That's what I did with Dustin King last year. Adrian Phillips a couple years ago, who actually was the guy who got the pick 6 on Cook. Which is
Yeah,
great.
he got 2. It's a player of the week.
Yeah,
welcome home, Adrian.
Mm-hmm. Revenge game. Anyways, next topic. Odell to the Bolts. What do you think, Tony?
Okay. I don't want Odell on this team because he takes away from the development this year for Joshua Palmer. Odell's not going to be the piece that puts the Bolts in the Super Bowl. Fletcher Cox, Von Miller, those guys may have been a piece that would have, like, could you imagine Von Miller on one side and Joey Bosa on the other with Derwin James floating around at linebacker and safety and corner and everything else? Like, give me a break. But no, sure, the Rams will go make that move. The Rams will spend. The Rams will get rid of every pick. But the Chargers are like, we're going to hold these tight so we can get more Trey McKitties. And, like, all right, fantastic. Guys will never play. But I think they have to put in a waiver claim because he cannot, repeat myself louder, cannot go to the Las Vegas Raiders. He cannot go. They need wide receivers so badly. Like, they might call, I don't know if Smokey Brown is somewhere. They cut him earlier. He might be back. Like, they need, I looked at the depth chart and it was like they put starting wide receivers, the last 3 on the roster, right? Zay Jones, Hunter Renfrow, Brian Edwards. So, like, they need receivers. They have a claim that is behind us. If, in fact, the Chargers don't do it, Odell will go there and he will have success with Derek Carr. Now, I don't think he stays there long-term, obviously. Like, Derek Carr and Odell they don't match well personality-wise to me. I think it would be another situation, Baker and Carr, it would be similar. But they have to play defense. This is the defense I was talking about to open the show. You have to keep him from going to the Raiders. Hopefully the Lions bail us out because that would be hilarious. But don't want Odell. But you got to play defense.
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't be upset if I saw Odell to the Chargers just for that reason as well. It is just interesting, the Chargers receiver situation right now is when you think about the long term, because Odell wouldn't be a Charger long term either. Maybe this year and next year, and then we'd be talking about Josh Palmer, hopefully. But the situation with Mike Williams, now the ball's in Mike's court because we did not give him the big extension in this offseason. So the ball's in his court. This is the last year of his deal. They can tag him and they can franchise tag him, hold on to him as long as we can. But ultimately, Mike can hit free agency. And if he continues the pace that he's on, although the last 2 games haven't been too great, if he continues the pace that he was on, he's going to get a max deal to a team somewhere. And it just doesn't happen in the NFL where a team is paying 2 receivers $20 million a year. And it ain't going to happen now. So that's a little worrisome to me. I could see them tagging him, though. And that leaves us Odell, Keenan, and Mike for the rest of this year if we signed him or waived him or signed him off of waivers. Odell, Keenan, and Mike for the rest of this year and an entire season next year as our receiving core, Justin Herbert. And say what you want about Odell, him being wide receiver 3 is absolutely insane. Almost unfair with Justin Herbert at quarterback.
I think he becomes the wide receiver 1, to be honest with you. But
it just fits well. The styles fit well.
Oh, if he was able to do work with Eli Manning, and Eli Manning's arm is not to the capability, like Odell still has that burst. It's not the Tyreek speed, but he has the ability that you have to respect him in the way where, like, he puts his foot in the dirt and he's going to go on a slant route. That gives him enough to then shake and then he's gone over the top, right? So he doesn't have to be the fastest guy because he's very clean with what he's doing, but he has more speed than Keenan does to then put his foot, right foot step, and then left foot, and then go, didn't just hit the go route. And that's a different type of beast that you have to defend. You kind of were a little sheepish about Josh Palmer. Mike, we saw the guy in person. He's really good, really big, really fast. That was an underthrown ball. He went up, competed for it, and snagged it in the end zone of that game. He
That was
could have
amazing.
easily let that ball get intercepted and ended with sadness. And he said, no, Tony Tucker asked me to do this. You couldn't hear him because it was loud. It was full of Patriots fans. He said, Tony Tucker asked me to catch him a touchdown today to make him feel better. He said, happy Halloween, Tony. I said, Joshua, I got you, brother.
Oh, I'm all for Joshua Palmer breaking out the rest of this year and becoming the wide receiver 2 of the future, the wide receiver 1 down the line, even when we're done with Keenan Allen. I'm all for it. But I also have some realistic thoughts in the back of my head that say Dontrell Inman and say Jared Tutu, who I had the same exact feelings about.
Yeah, but see, your wide receiver radar is a little off because you also liked Guyton and Johnson, and these guys aren't Josh Palmer.
Yeah, not quite, right?
They're just not. It's not like you just look at even the way his gloves fit on his hands. You're like, oh, this guy's gonna moss people for his entire career. He just needs to get on the field. Josh Palmer's season is
I hope
coming.
so. I'm with it. But as far as the Odell topic goes, if Odell came, Josh Palmer is now playing.
He doesn't play
at all. No, not.
He doesn't
and
play at
Guyton
all.
probably isn't playing very much either. And I'm okay with that at this point. Guyton is also dropping passes. Probably.
I don't think.
When you think about the percentage
dresses.
ratio of caught passes to drop passes from Guyton, it's probably pretty even right now.
I don't want to even look up that stat because like I said, I found his mom on Instagram. She's a very nice woman. So I don't want to say bad things about him on this show. Jalen Guyton, upstanding young man.
Oh man. So the overall census is between me and you. We're okay with them getting Odell. We're okay with them not getting Odell. We just don't want the Raiders to get Odell at all costs.
100%. Here's the thing is I don't even care really if he went to the Chiefs, right? Like, because I think that is like, it creates even more problems for them, more of a distraction. But since the Raiders are so desperate for a receiver, like imagine the Chiefs are already a circus this year. We can't stop turning the ball over. We expect to win. We're the Harlem Globetrotters. You throw Odell in there and he doesn't get a couple passes. He throws a tantrum and then him and Odell and we're all having hair wars. Me, Odell, and Patrick are all like, who's got the best fucking hair, man? It's me, by the way, guys, because I'm the oldest. But lastly, Josh Palmer doesn't even dress if Odell's on the team. Because you don't have them they're only playing starting 4 wide receivers, right?
Yeah.
Or 5 wide receivers. You got Roberts on special teams. Guyton's plays special teams. I don't even think Palmer dresses because they dress 3 tight ends too. And Gabe Neighbors a fullback. Palmer doesn't even dress if Odell's on the team.
Dang, that's a career killer for him.
It would crush me.
Let's move on to the Eagles game. Here's the injury report, Tony. Michael Davis not looking good. Oh, those things are all messed up. I already noticed it. Michael Davis did not practice. He's been hurt the entire week. Alohi Gilman has not practiced the entire week. Who has a concussion? Asante Samuel Jr. has a concussion. Yeah. He's probably, I don't know if he's going to play. He hasn't practiced the entire week. And then there's one more guy on there. It's the text that got messed up. The old one got saved. Justin Jackson has been not practicing this entire week as well. We saw him get hurt in the game. And as far as the Eagles go, they have a bunch of guys on rest, but for the most part, no one's in serious condition not to play. So they're going to be pretty healthy, other than the guys on IR, of course. And the Chargers, same thing.
Last week we read that long injury report from the Patriots on the show, and everybody played. Yeah, that's what Belichick has done forever. My hope is that Nick Sirianni and the Eagles are such a bad franchise. It's in such disarray. I hope they try to turn Jalen Hurts into a pocket passer this game. Now, I don't think that will happen because last week they decided to start running the football without Miles Sanders. They're like first round or second round pick out of Penn State or whatever it is. And then they're like, well, we got Boston Scott in there now. Let's run the ball with Jordan Howard, who was on our practice squad for the last however many weeks. Like, we're gonna run the football. I was just like, what the hell is? You never committed to the run with Miles Sanders. Do you just hate Miles Sanders, or Because if you wanted to run the ball, Scott and Jordan Howard were both on your roster before this.
Yeah.
They could have potentially been winning more games. So I'm hoping that Nick Sirianni's like, this is the week that Jalen Hurts stands in the pocket and tries to complete 40 balls from the pocket. No option reads, none, coach. Stay there. And
Well, this is a great transition to the X Factors, because my X Factors are Joey Bosa and Uchenna Nwosu and Fackrell and anyone that's going to be playing edge this week. I think that if we don't let Jalen Hurts scramble, and it's not scramble and run for yards, he's going to do that. You can't stop him from that. It's impossible. You can try and limit it. You can't stop him. But I'm talking about rolling out, buying time, and allowing the receivers to have more time down the field to get open. If both our edge rushers can keep him in the pocket and keep him from getting out like that too often, I really like our chances of not just winning the game, but shutting their offense down. I feel like that's Jalen Hurts' greatest strength, because he's not that great from inside the pocket, like you're saying, is when he gets on the move, he can make time with his legs, and that allows receivers to just break wide open downfield, because he can't stay in coverage for that long. And he'll be the kind of guy to break the pocket and then scramble over on the sideline where the pocket's already broken, which is like Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray type stuff that Hurts shouldn't be doing, but that's the kind of things that lead to big plays in the secondary.
Yes, and I will be crying. That was an impression of me crying at 105 when that happens on like the first play of the game. So I was watching, because the more that we have been hanging out, the more that I want to be able to understand football on a different level. So I've been watching a lot more of like Baldinger stuff. I'm always referencing it. He did a piece the other day, I forget who it was, on like the ability. Oh, that's who it was. TJ Watt's ability to play the edge is insane. I was like, oh, this adds like another level of how good he is. Like so many plays that he just forces back into the middle. And I started asking myself, because I haven't watched enough, does Bosa sacrifice pass rushing attempts like that to just secure the edge as well as a TJ Watt? Like, I'm not saying he needs to be the same, but does he do that?
In previous years, yes. He's actually one of the better run-stopping defensive ends, because he's athletic enough to chase you down if he needs to, too. Now, when he's going against guys like Hurts, Lamar Jackson stuff, it gets tougher. It's harder to do. But the typical quarterback and the typical running back, Bosa has been able to handle. But the problem is this year, and the biggest problem with our D-line is this year, is that Nwosu's not becoming what we thought he was going to become. And we don't have a guy that can legitimately do the same things that Bosa can do, or at least half of what Bosa can do on the other side. So teams can just run away from Bosa, and in pass game, in pass game, they literally quadruple team him, and we can't get other guys free in one-on-one with running backs. It's insane this year how bad the rest of the D-line has been in pass rush.
Did you see his comments after the game? And then him and Staley kind of went at it in the media. I don't know if you saw those quotes, but I'll paraphrase. Felke, we love you.
Just leave him.
Kick rocks, homie.
Yeah, go to the Patriots show that doesn't exist on this network. Or the Cowboy show that doesn't exist on this network.
So, oh yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
Bosa came out and they said they had practiced and game plan moving him inside so that he wouldn't have to deal with the extra double, triple team, the chipping, the whatever. And they didn't move to it once whatsoever in the game. They didn't rotate him, put him inside, and move like Covington to the outside or anything like that so that he had a chance. And then Staley responded, I'm going to mess it up, but Staley basically responded by saying like, oh, I know what he's talking about, but there wasn't opportunities or it wasn't in the game flow or whatever.
Yeah.
He responded to what Bosa had said. And I was like, oh, no, guys, you guys can't. I don't want those two your player said this, because then the coach has to like not offend him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want that kind of controversy going on between the best players and the coach. You know, like,
yeah, and that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work, because the problem isn't where Joey Bosa's lining up on the field. The problem is that teams know that freaking Damian Harris in run block and pass block can block Jerry Tillery, which is bullshit to me because Jerry Tillery is a monster. But that's the real problem, is that there's no one else on the D-line that requires even a little bit of a chip or a double team. Joey Bosa requires a triple team to stop him. He will beat double teams. But we need to get another guy that can do that next year. That should be one of the Chargers' highest priorities. The highest priority last year was getting the O-line fixed and putting it up for Philip Rivers. I'm way off right now. For Justin Herbert. The offensive line was the highest priority. We went and did that. The Chargers still have a very beneficial cap scenario. If there's a big name edge rusher, if another Bud Dupree hits the market, he better be a Charger next year. If another whoever it might be, or in the first round, we're going to be around the mid part of it, or in the mid 20s somewhere, draft a edge rusher, because that's got to be a high priority going into next year. I'd rather, and call me crazy, and Chargers fans might be upset by this just because it's offense. We love offense. I'd rather us add another elite or really good pass rusher than re-sign Mike Williams.
Yeah. Well, I'll also say this. Allow Justin Herbert to elevate whoever is on the offensive side of the ball and focus on the other side, the other tackle side, right? And the D-line. It has to be a focus. Like, that has to be the entire offseason. I would get a couple of pass rushers. I would go in like the 4th, 5th round and find guys that are just athletic, that Staley's like, oh, this guy can work in my system. Or this safety we should draft him and transition him to an edge rushing linebacker or whatever it is. Like, figure that out. It has to be the right tackle situation, because Storm Norton, love the name. You need to be a backup at best. And then you got to go to the D-line.
Mm-hmm. I like the way the secondary is shaping out. I do too. I was a little bit concerned about secondary just because they didn't really add anyone to it, and it was bad last year without Derwin. And I didn't know, like, Derwin's coming back and it was going to be better, but I didn't know how much better. Like, we needed to go from worst to average or something. But I think we're above average secondary, and I like the way the future of the secondary is looking, because Gilman is surprising me immensely, and I think that he has potential with Nas Adderley to be a solid free safety combo. And then, of course, ASJ has surprised me still, even with a little bit of a struggle the last couple of games. I just think they stopped throwing at him and stopped attacking him as much. He has less opportunities to make plays. ASJ and Michael Davis, those guys can be the cornerbacks of the future.
Yeah, the injuries this week in the secondary aren't necessary.
You are going to have the secondary out for a game. This is it.
Yes, I was just going to say, like, this is the one week where I'm like, okay, the backup should be able to come in, like Quez Watkins, and you just can't let these guys who are speedy and Devonta Smith get behind you.
It's Devonta Smith and Dallas Goedert is the guys.
Yeah, Derwin, get out there. Mm-hmm. Goddard, man him up in like big, 3rd and 4 situations and play him, hit him at the line. I saw a couple great pieces on Stephon Gilmore too, where I'm like, why didn't they put in a claim? Why didn't they put in a trade for Gilmore? Like, the way he could have been used in this defense with Staley.
We just don't do it. It's crushing. And Gilmore looks good.
6th-round pick? Exactly. A 6th-round pick for Stephon Gilmore?
We acquired a 6th-round pick for Desmond King. Yes, I love Desmond King, but we're talking about Stephon Gilmore. Big difference. Same amount of cost to us. And let's talk about your X Factor, Tony.
My X Factor is Joseph.
I do want to say this real quick. I'm sorry to cut you off. This is more like it. This is more normal for me. This is my normal demeanor about this time of year. I just want to point that out. Real upset.
Joseph, really. Super Bowl trophy Lombardi. I really, really need, I need to see the offense just playing better. There's too much talent with a quarterback who has that much ability to just be looking like they're running a middle school offense. Like, it just looks. Remember when I was like, what I texted you in the middle of the game, I said, does he ever go into this shotgun and just get back there and just like sit and look and be like, all right, I see a mismatch and I'm letting it rip here? Does everything have to be out like, oh, well, we're going to play action or we're going to, fake this or that or whatever? No, dude. let the guy just sit back there, survey the field, put 4 wide or Jared Cook in the slot and 3 wide receivers, and let this guy just make something happen. At least once in a while, shake it up. Get more in the hurry up offense and just let him get there and like use Eckler in the check down game if whatever's not there. Like, just getting back to the huddle and calling these plays and then running it up, getting 2 yards and then going back. It's like, there's nothing exciting about it. I need Joe Lombardi to be like, oh, I'm going to make teams study us. It feels like they're just like, well, the Chargers are just going to keep doing the same thing every week. We know what it is. This won't be hard to stop. Like the Patriots didn't the week before, 2 weeks before, like didn't Mike White come in and do some damage against the Patriots? Like when he came in, threw a couple touchdowns against them, like Davis Mills threw against them. Like teams are having success against the Patriots. And without that garbage time touchdown, it would have been a really, really shitty stat line for the entire offense.
Yep. And that was a garbage time touchdown. So we'll go ahead and just say that now. That was a garbage time touchdown, which I hate to even have to say that we almost got blown out by the Patriots. Mac Jones and the Patriots. It's absolutely sad. And the play calling needs some more spice to it. I do like the idea on most sets of downs to try and get yourself into a third and manageable situation and limit the third and longs, because we saw a lot of those due to holding penalties last year. But it's getting a little too extreme, and we're a little bit too conservative for what we have as far as a receiving core and a running back that can catch the ball at the backfield. We're just too conservative about it. These guys can press people deep. All of them. Every receiver on the team is a deep threat. And then we have one of the better route runners in the league in Keenan Allen. Mike Williams is becoming the Mike Thomas of this offense. He can line up out wide, put a guy on an island, run a slant, get the first down. Like, we have the ability to completely mix it up, switch it up, make big plays, be an explosive, high-flying offense. And right now, I would call us, over the last 2 weeks, a conservative offense. I want what we had at the end of that Browns game. They let it rip at the end of that Browns game in the fourth quarter. They said, everything's off. Herbert, you're throwing it 50 times today. Let's let it rip.
Well, it's almost like they're like, hey, we're playing the Chiefs. We really got to get cooking. We got to pile it on. And granted, the Chiefs defense is horrible, right? But even in the Browns, like the Browns game, like before it got out of hand, they were still attacking like, hey, we're going to need to score some points in this game. And hit Mike early on in the game. They came into these last couple games against the Ravens like, we're going to play like grinded out. No, you're not going to play grinded out football against a defense that can't get off the field on third down because they can't stop the run. You have to put up points. Every team is going to just win time of possession because the defense can't stop the run. That will be so every time that the offense gets on the field, they need to be putting points on the board. We can't be trying to say, oh, well, we need to get some ball control going with us. No, we need to put together the most effective game plan to just be pushing points on the board all game long.
100%. 100%. And I agree with that. And I think that this is a good get-right game to do that and put up 40 points.
It's a weird when I saw the game was at 1:05, I was happy, one, because I'm like more awake by 1 o'clock than I am at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, 1:05. That's crazy.
Yeah, the game's at 1:05, and I was like, why is this getting pushed to the late afternoon window? Like, were people that excited about the Chargers and Eagles? Or like, I wonder if there were so many games that they were like, well, let's just push this one and we'll bury it at 1:05. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
Like,
maybe.
I don't know the morning schedule, but I was a little surprised, but also happy.
Hopefully the thoughts are we're going to bury this game because the Chargers are going to bury the Eagles.
That's my goal. That's my hope.
No offense to Dalton, the 302 Birds crew. We love you guys as people, but this week, y'all suck. The Eagles suck. Let's just be honest. Let's all be honest. They're a 3-5 team that's beating the Lions and another trash team to beat 3-5.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Let's do it. My score prediction: 42-21 Chargers, and the 21 is Easton Stick Chase Daniels time.
Oh man, East and Stick on an option read down by the goal line. Make me lose my freaking mind, people. I love it. I thought I was gonna going wild. I'm going 38-21 Chargers.
Close. We're very close.
Yes. I don't care if this is clipped by Dalton in the 302 Birds or whatever it is. Chargers are going to stomp a hole in the Eagles this Sunday, and I need it to happen. I need the defense to be dominant and get takeovers and turnaways. I need a sense of urgency from this team that hasn't been here for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I need players being pissed off. I need somebody shouting on the sidelines if things even are in a sniff of the wrong direction. I want to know who the leader is, the vocal person on the sideline that pulls people together and says, we're better than this. We can't lose 3 games in a row. We just can't do it. We have too much talent on this team, and our defense is good enough. We shouldn't be losing to the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't care if you flew 3,000 miles east.
Mm-hmm. And
Can't
we
happen.
are focused. We are focused on our own race and our own path. But when we look left and right, this is the time the Raiders usually fall apart. If they don't, kudos to them. But this is the time the Raiders usually fall apart. So we got to keep winning. The Chiefs, this is the time that they're going to turn it on and try and make a little bit of a comeback in this division. So we need to win like the next 6 games of easy opponents that we have, or we are in trouble of what we had for the first 5 games, of losing it all and everything that we were excited about.
They must win this game. There's nothing else I can say other than you have to beat the Eagles if you want to be a serious playoff contending team. You have to beat the Eagles, and they need to do it convincingly. They need to go out there, and you need people waking up on Monday saying, where's this Chargers team been the past couple of weeks? And what could we be game planning for next week? If they did, remember how interesting it was when they had Keenan Allen lining up in the backfield and like coming out on option routes, and like they had fun plays to the backup tight end.
Well, that's gone.
Where is it?
It's gone.
All of it is gone.
It's gone. It's gone. This is a good spot to close out the show. Come on. Let's get it going. Bolt up.
Bolt
Thanks.
the fuck up.
Thanks for joining us, guys. We'll see you guys next week. Happier.
San Diego Chargers are fortunate to have Lance Allworth.
Don Coryell.